Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Rowing Chat, the podcast for rowers everywhere. I'm Rebecca Caro. I started this back in 2013, and we've been going continuously ever since. Today, we're going to be talking about pain in rowing, and I'm delighted to welcome as my guest Blaž Kopič, who is an expert in this area. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca, and hello to everybody who is listening to this podcast.
Would you like to tell the listeners a little bit about you and your background in rowing and pain?
Okay, actually, I'm still a master rower. I rowed in junior categories, and actually pain, or I would say injury, led me to my physiotherapy situation. So I started to go to university and study physiotherapy because injury put me aside of rowing in junior categories. So this is in short about this part of the life. And now I own my own physiotherapy practice in Slovenia. I worked with many athletes and many national teams. Especially, I was involved in volleyball for 5 years. So in the national area, so with Slovenian national volleyball team. And now for the past year, I'm involved more and more in rowing and treating rower athletes in my local club, and I hope that this will expand also to other clubs and individuals.
Now, you've got a big picture concept about pain in rowing called ABC Help Yourself. Can you explain this?
Yeah, ABC Help Yourself is something is my idea that everybody, every individual has his own medicine box in his body that can tap into when you have the right idea about your body, when you can I would say help your body, just if you can kick yourself in a little bit, that you can treat yourself with knowledge, with exercises, with all range of I would say modalities. So this is quite big picture, I would say, and today we will just talk about two of these themes under this umbrella of ABC Help Yourself. We will talk about pain misconceptions, general about the pain, and mostly mistakes in training process that leads to pain, discomfort, and overuse injuries.
Now, pain in rowing there are two types. One is you are in a race and you're working really hard and it becomes painful. And the other, of course, is related to injury. Which type are you talking about?
Today, we will talk about related to injury, but we will see later that not every pain is injury or is tissue damage. The other one, the pain in rowing, as when we row in a competition or on hard training, that is actually a result of lactate in our muscles, is just a whole different story. This is something I'm not so good at it, but pain general, when you make a stroke or something like that and you feel some discomfort, this is the area we'll talk about.
So let's kick off with pain misconceptions. What are we getting wrong?
First one, and the biggest mistake people think is that pain equals tissue damage. This is one major misconception that is solely that people think that pain is solely due to tissue damage, but most of the time they don't think, okay, that when you maybe just when you are rowing or you do, I don't know, squat, you feel the discomfort or the pain, but in other areas you don't feel anything. So this is what I'm asking: why, if I twist my ankle or broke my bone, I feel discomfort and pain all the time. So this is totality. The injury is total. But most of the people, they feel discomfort or pain during the stroke. I don't know, maybe in squat. I don't know, in knee or in the back. But in the other movements, they don't feel the pain. So there cannot be correlation. I would say not. This is not a correlation, but just from philosophical point. Okay, if I have total injury, I need to feel the pain all the time. So most of the time, brain interpretation of signals, various sensory inputs, results to pain and discomfort. Why this pain and discomfort comes when you do squat, when you, I don't know, when you catch with the blade something, I don't know. This is then another story. But first and most important thing is that pain doesn't equal tissue damage. Why? Imaging of if you, the typical situation is that you go to a general practitioner with the pain, or physiotherapist, something like that, in the back or in the knee, and then you go to the scan with MRI, and you will see some deformation, something like that, okay, on the tissue, on the bones. But most of the times when the pain symptoms and what is saw on MRI is not overlapping. If you will go to physiotherapy practice, you will see that most of the people have some damages or something like that on the spine or on the in the knee. But but pain symptoms are not the same. You understand? So okay, that why is that? And it was major one time the major study was done in, I think, USA or in Canada, that they put people in MRI scans and they asked them beforehand if they are experiencing some pain in the lower back. And many people said yes, many people said no. And people who said yes, they didn't have any bigger tissue damages on the spine, or they had it, and vice versa. So this tells us a lot about what is actually pain, or is discomfort, or something like that. Okay, so imaging is not always the true indicator of pain. So this goes well with hand in hand, that pain doesn't equal tissue damage.
That's fascinating, because yes, I personally have fortunately, not had to do MRIs and things like that. But the fact that you can't, the perception of pain is very individual.
Yes, exactly.
And it doesn't line up with what you can see under a MRI scan.
Yeah, surely, because like you said perfectly, pain is individual. It's a individual phenomenon. I would say pain is like love, but it's not love. But you feel it in your own way. So and pain is as well related, or is dependent on the context. If I would feel some discomfort in the last 500 meters of regatta, and I know that if I am not second, I will not go to Olympics, my pain perception would be much lower. If I would feel the same thing, the same pain, or the same injury during training session, probably I would go to this situation. Oh, I have in 1 week I have regatta, I have no pain, and then I will exaggerate my situation probably, and I will feel even more pain, because pain is in a way red light on the dashboard of your car, and it's telling you something. that there is some danger in proximity, or maybe there will happen something. And I say many times that actually it's good to have pain, because pain changes your behavior. It leads you away from something. Okay, if I do squat and my knee hurts, don't do that, because something is not, at this point of time, is not good for your body. But generally, squat is good for you, but not in this particular time. Look what is happening, and try to fix it in a way. We don't get the email with all analytics data from our body. Okay, change this, change this, change this. You just have pain, discomfort, or good feeling. If you do something good, you will get endorphins, blah blah blah. You feel good. If you do something bad, you will feel discomfort, pain, in a way. So yeah.
So when we are training in rowing, what are the mistakes that we're making that could be causing pain when maybe we don't need to do this? Assuming you don't want pain. I generally don't want pain.
Okay. If we talk about pain general in lower back or something like that, yeah. Is that your question?
Yes, that's my question.
Okay. So most mistakes that people are making during training process are that they go too much too soon. I would say that workload, they are going from, I don't know, practicing 2 times a week, and in a short period of the time they will go 5-6 times a week. And maybe they will throw in some interval training on high speeds and high workload. So generally the body needs time to accommodate, or I would say forgot the word, adaptation. So most of the pain and discomfort generally in the ligaments and in the muscles or in the tendons, like soreness and some little inflammations, are most of the times due to too much too soon, that your body didn't adapt well in this short period of time. This is one mistake that most of the master rowers, or I would say master athletes in general, also runners and hikers do. This is the biggest problem. I would say the most common. And as well, one of the mistakes that people also do is poor technique. But I wouldn't say maybe poor technique on rowing. Okay, everybody can gets better in rowing technique, but technique doing some exercises, maybe in a gym. Probably most of the time people go do deadlifts and push-ups and stuff like that, and they don't have sufficient technique for the load they put themselves on. I don't know, on
the amount of weight on the bar is too great for their quality of technique.
Yeah, exactly. They maybe would do a good technique if maybe with 20% less weight and would be better, but ego gets in the way sometimes, I would say.
All the time. Especially competitive athletes.
Yeah. And this goes then to another mistake that people do, that they do not seek proper guidance as well in with training sessions, or how to make periodizations of training volume and intensities, and as well in the gym and other related training which is supported to rowing, running, gym, core exercises. I don't know if you do cross-country skiing. So they don't seek guidance. They just go and I'm not talking about that you need to hire a professional trainer for every session you do. But if you didn't row or you didn't do anything for 10 years, just go listen some podcasts, try to seek some informations on blog, on YouTube is amazing library of knowledge, and just to get some bearings, just to get some bearings, and then lay out your plan. And this is one of the most important things, I would say, that you don't train just we have in Slovenia on one expression that you are training just on your mind, that you don't think about in the future. Just I'll come to training, I will just do whatever it feels me, but whatever I feel to do at this moment. And this, I think, is a mistake.
A lot of other sports have a very different attitude to taking professional advice. So if you play golf and you go to a golf course or a club, it's very normal that there is a full-time professional called the golf pro, and you can hire them for private lessons, group lessons, and they will give you the guidance that you're seeking. For some reason, in other sports, people think they're absolutely fine on their own. And I once had a single sculler come to me who had taught himself to scull from a book. And you can imagine what he was like.
Oh, wow. This is in category that I learned myself swimming from the book, I would say.
Or riding a bicycle. It's really difficult to do successfully. And you probably will have it wrong. And he had a lot of it wrong. And of course, it was very hard to teach him because he had learned for a long time thinking he was doing the right thing.
Yeah. If you learn it in a way and you do it for some quite time, one technique or some sport, then it's hard to unlearn the basics. Yeah.
Really true. I mean, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something.
Yeah.
Think how many strokes you have done in one way, and then the coach is telling you to do it in another way. Maybe you've done more than 10,000 strokes, repetitions, and that is very, very challenging to unlearn, which is why every rowing club should put the best coach on the novices, on the beginners.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, really. Because especially in this period when the novices are 10 years to 14 years old,
or 40 years old.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. But I suggest that people who are 40 are already rowing. This is in Slovenian situation. In Slovenia, if you are 40 years old, you cannot start rowing. You can buy yourself a boat, but I don't know who will coach you, because master rowing situation in Slovenia, in my country, practically non-existent.
Well, it has grown in this country for the last probably 20 years because they've started teaching adults.
This is nice to hear. And
so, back to ABC Help Yourself. So how does this contextualize everything that we've been talking about today?
So I believe that if people understand something about the pain, some general truths and concepts about the pain, that this can help them experience less discomfort or pain. This is clinically also proven, that if you know a concept of the pain and how pain comes, your pain will go down in they did clinical studies. And I would say that if you know how to put yourself through training situation, you can help yourself not experiencing, or you can prevent some injuries or discomforts. In this umbrella as well comes also exercises, how to also treat yourself when you with I don't know, with foam roller or with another modalities. How to treat yourself when you feel some pain or you have inflammation. But this is something we will talk about maybe in the next podcast or next time, I would say, because you see, it's a lot.
It's a big subject, isn't it?
Yeah. And I am a really strong believer that everything can be done with your own body, that you don't, most of the times you don't need outside sources. Okay, if you need the operation of your something of your organ, okay, you need to go to surgically remove, I don't know, appendix. But as well as what I do in my practice, I don't use machines at all. Everything I do is with my hands. So it's like an osteopathy mixed with physiotherapy, mixed with another stuff, because body will heal itself naturally. If you are getting older, this healing processes are slowing, but you can still heal yourself. If you're 75 years old and you broke your if you got broken your foot or something like that, bone will heal itself, as well. You can also run at 74 if you want. I have a client who runs at 74 marathons. So as well, you adaptation can be to the end of our lives. So, and you heal it yourself every day, and you die every day, and you get reborn every day. Every cell in the body gets renewed several times in your life cycle.
So the message to a listener who is a rower is, first, recognize the misconceptions.
Yeah.
Then be careful in your training to avoid the things that cause pain, specifically the ones that you have mentioned, and understand how your body can heal itself.
Yeah.
Now, if the listeners want to find out more about you and your work, where can they connect with you?
Okay. I have an Instagram account, which is called The Rowing Clinic. And they can also find me on my personal Instagram account or Facebook under Blaž Kopič. And my personal IG account is Blaž K25. So there you can find me. I can give you my website, but it's in Slovene. So yeah, but you can
better to use Instagram.
Yeah.
Because that was where I found you.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Blaž, thank you very much. You are amazing. I think this is quite an interesting, it's a very big area.
Yeah, it is. I would like to talk more about that, but we'll see. I hope we'll talk about more in the future. Thank you, Rebecca.
Blaž Kopič, thank you very much for being my guest. And to everyone else, please leave us a review, like our episodes, and share them with your friends, because as we all know in rowing, we're all here together and there's no limitation to good ideas. So share it around. Till next time.